Hello and welcome to our little overview of the Messenger app within Facebook. Now, Messenger can be used either within Facebook or as a separate app on your phone. So we're going to look at it from the desktop or computer side first, and then there'll be a separate little video on how to use it from your phone. You'll find, however, that the methods are pretty similar. Now, just as a reminder, what you're looking at here is the Facebook news feed for this account, and anything I put in here, unless I really adjust the settings on it, is available for viewing by all of my friends. So if I want to send private messages to somebody or to a group of people, I'll use the messenger up here, up in the upper right corner. And if I click on Messenger, I get this lovely little chat window, and I get a list of people who I have talked to or who have talked to me. And I also notice there's a little green dot here. So Sean Gramiak is online, so I can chat with him. Now, I know this might seem a little bit confusing because it says Sean Gramiak up here, but I'm actually chatting between two accounts that I have. So it's almost like two twins are talking in this example. So let's say I wanted to send a message here to Sean Gramiak. I'd simply go and click on this and it would open up a chat window. And once that happens, down here at the bottom, I see this blinky little bar, and this is how I can send a message to somebody. And you'll notice that there's already a little bit of a conversation going on. I asked, "Hello, how are you today?" And Sean messaged back, "Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?" And I'm going to type in, "That is wonderful to hear." And at this point, I can either click on this little arrow to send the message or tap my enter key, and the message goes off to Sean. And at this point, if Sean happens to be on his phone, by the way, Sean is on his phone, so Sean is going to message back to this. And you might notice that for a moment or two, there were some little bouncing dots on the screen. And that's an indicator that the person is messaging you back. Now you'll notice that the message jumps back here and Sean is asking me, "How are things going?" And I'm going to reply, "They are going just great." And once again, I'll tap my enter key and a message goes off to Sean. So this way we can bounce messages back and forth, especially if the person is presently active now. Now, if I don't see that they're active now, I can still send them a message. They might just not reply to it right away. Couple of things to keep in mind. There are other things we can add to a message, and I'll talk about those in a second or two. But I'm going to go and take a look up here for a moment. And just so you know what these things are, these are a variety of buttons in the upper right corner. And this little camera here, if I was to click on it, I could start a video chat with the person that I'm talking to. Now, since I'm having a conversation with myself, that's not going to work so great. But the general idea is that if I'm talking to someone else and they are active, we're exchanging messages, I can click this little button, and as long as that person has a camera on their computer, or nowadays everybody has a camera on their phone, that will activate the camera and you'll be able to have a video call instead. So if you're not that great of a typist, you might find sometimes switching and doing a video call might be the way to go. Let the person know on the other end you're about to do that, just to be absolutely sure about things, just in case the person has come out of the shower or something along those lines. They still have to accept the video call on their side in order to make the full connection, but let the person know you're going to change this to a video call. Right beside this, there is a way to activate just a voice call instead of sending a text message as we're sending messages now. Now, if I was to click on this, their phone would actually ring, and it would come up on their phone that someone is trying to send them a messenger call, an audio call, and they could go ahead and accept that call, and suddenly it changes from being a texting conversation to being like a regular phone call. I can also minimize the message if I need to. Say something's happening on the screen, I need to take a look at it. I can go and minimize it. And if I minimize it, it comes down to this little icon here that's the picture of the person I'm talking to. And if I go and I click on them, it just brings the full Messenger window back. And this is our close, and I'm not going to close the chat at this point. Now, some of the stuff I can do with messages is that, for instance, when messages come up here, I have the options. Well, I can click the three dots by a message, and I can choose to remove the message if I want to, or forward it to someone else. So if someone has sent me an insult or something along those lines, I can go and choose to remove it. So I'm going to go and remove this. Not that there's anything wrong with the message, but just to show you how it's done. So if I go click remove, I can, if I'm chatting to a group of people, and we can chat about that a bit later, I can unsend it to everyone, or I can just remove this particular chunk of the message for me and leave it so the other person chatting with me can still see it, but I'm actually going to go and remove it completely, and that just unsends the message. And the person on the other side knows that the message was unsent. They'll see that it's unsent. Now, I don't expect that you'd use that very often, but sometimes there are times where I may be chatting with two or three people at once, and I might accidentally send someone the wrong message intended for a totally different purpose. So at that point, clicking the three dots and unsending is not a bad route to go. Another thing I can do with messages is I can send uh, additional things to the message. So for instance, I could send, like a picture or something along those lines. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to type in, get a look at this. And then if I want, you'll notice that those symbols have kind of disappeared. But if I want to bring them back, and I'm going to get this out of the way. Sorry, I had some notifications pop up here. I'm going to click the plus sign. And this gives me access to a whole bunch of different things that I can add to my message. So in this case, I'm going to go and attach a photo in this instance. So I'll click to attach a photo. I'm going to go and open up my photos of my cats. I'm going to choose a message that's on my computer and I'm going to click open. And in a second or two, that picture gets added to the message. And I can add more pictures if I want. Facebook really doesn't care. But at this point, one picture is good enough, so I'm just going to send that off. And what you're going to see is that it enters into our conversation. So I've sent it off to this other Sean, and he'll see it on his side of the world on his phone. And chances are, when that message is seen, there will be a reply that comes in, and the reply will be, uh, those are great looking cats. So the response is about to come in because it's about to be sent. And you'll notice, and you may not be able to hear it, but on your own computer, when responses to messages come in, you'll often hear like a sound or a prompt that'll let you know that the message has rolled in. So as I said earlier, I can add all sorts of stuff to these things. So again, I can add pictures, I can add stickers, which are just, well, again, if I choose to add a sticker, I can just click and I can just send, from one of these categories, a little sticker here. And let's see, I'm going to go and, I don't know, I'm going to add this one. And it's two little cats scratching each other. Now, stickers are something I can send, and stickers are kind of meant to be an alternative to, say, writing out a message in text. The other thing I can send is a thing called a GIF, or some people call it a GIF. It's a short little animation. So, for instance, if I wanted to send an animation instead, I could click on GIF and maybe send this animated picture of this cat playing a keyboard. And uh, again, if that gets sent to the person that you're chatting to, they could reply to that and say, that is one talented cat. And as soon as the reply comes in, it appears in the chat window. Now, when replies come in, I've also got these little items here. And again, more I can use to unsend or forward things, but over here I've got a button called React. So to individual messages that come in as part of the chat, rather than typing a response down here, I can also click on React, and I can, for instance, you know, put a laugh onto this and indicate that I've laughed at the comment. So not only can I just do plain texting by using this little box down here, I can also use all these added little features to send more types of responses out to other people. There's also a reply button here, and if I click on reply, it actually replies to like the specific person and the specific comment. So this is more useful in, say, something like a group chat where I might be talking to 3 or 4 people at once and I just want to reply to a specific person. But in this case, since it's only between 2 people, I'm just going to close that off. I don't need it. Okay. I did mention that there are other things that I can attach or send as part of a message. So if I come down here and I click the button to open more actions, again, I get what I had before, including these little, the items to attach photos, stickers, and GIFs, but I can also attach files off my computer. So if I go and click attach a file, that opens up a window on my computer and I can go, I don't know, maybe to my, I usually go into my documents area, but I'm going to go to my desktop instead because there's some files there I know. So I'm going to go to, let's say I had to send somebody a thing about, I don't know, let's see. I had to send them an algebra quiz. I'd only do that to people I really disliked. No offense to anyone who likes algebra out there. But let's say I had to send this quiz to somebody. I could choose that file and click open, and then that would send, or it would attach this to a message I can send out. This is an algebra quiz I want you to look at. And then as soon as I click send, that quiz will go out as an attachment to my friend. So of course, people can send me attachments as well. And the thing about attachments is if someone was, let's say that this was sent to me instead, I could simply click on the attachment, and in a second or two, it'll show up on my screen. So I'm just going to close off the attachment, by the way, and I'll go back to the conversation. So if someone sends you an attachment, it's easy enough to click on it and see it, and then from there you can either download it or print it out or do what you need to do with it. And I'm going to send one more picture or send one more message to this person, and I'm going to say, send me a picture that I will like. And you'll notice that there's a little smiley face down here. I can even click here and I can insert things called emojis. And again, these are just little symbols that I can use to accentuate the message. And you'll see there's all sorts of different categories or groups of emojis in here. And keep in mind, you may want to do some research on emojis because certain symbols have taken on certain meanings over time. But you can always get away with a smiley face. So I'm going to click on the smiley face, and that just gets added into the message. So at that point, I can tap my enter key and the message goes off to the person. Now, on the other side, if that person goes, decides to send me a picture, and I'll just take a second or two and let that person send me a picture. And give me a second here. This person is a long-winded typist. But at that point, they can go in and they're going to add a picture. And the picture they're going to add is going to be, there we go. That's a good picture. And they're going to send me a picture. And keep in mind that when they send, it may take a moment or two for the picture to be received on my side, but this is the response I got in regard to requesting that picture. Now, when a picture arrives, it has a bunch of symbols beside it too. So again, if I really like the picture, I can just go and click the react button and say, I love this picture. And then the person on the other side sees that I've given it a little heart. I can also come along in here and I can click on this to forward this to another person that I think will be interested in this. So if I was to click forward, it would bring up a list of people who I think might like it. And maybe my friend John Brown will like it. So I'll click on John Brown, and that message has been sent off to John Brown, and he'll get it in his messenger and then maybe enter into the conversation with us. Now I'm just going to close that off for now. Now, last but not least, when someone sends me a message, I can also go and if I've written something out, and I also have the capability to like things from here. So if someone sent me a message and I didn't respond via text, I could also simply like what they've sent me. So I'm going to go back, and maybe this person that I was chatting to previously will say, how did you like the picture? And they send me a message that says, how do you like the picture? And if I don't have time to send a response to them, I'll just send them a thumbs up. And a thumbs up indicates that I like the picture. And I don't know if everyone does this, but kind of informally at the end of a conversation, if I'm done chatting with somebody, I might click the thumbs up at the end of it. And sometimes that's an informal way of saying, well, okay, I'm kind of done with the conversation, especially if they send me a thumbs up right back. That can be kind of a way of concluding the conversation. The other way I'll conclude a conversation with a person will be saying something like, I have to let you go. We'll chat later. And then at the end of it, I stick on TTFN, which is shorthand for ta-ta for now. And then when I tap my enter key, out goes the message to that person, and that person may type around and just, or turn around and type in CYA, which is, see ya, and then we can chat at a later time. So that's a wee bit about kind of using the Messenger chat window. There's another way to get into Messenger that is a little bit more like email, and we'll hop into that right now. So just give me a moment. I'm going to close this Messenger window off, or close the chat window off. By the way, if you see that you have a contacts list down here on the right-hand side of your screen, you can also access your chat by doing that as well. So again, anyone who has green dots beside them are what we call active. They're presently on Facebook. Even if they don't have a green dot beside them, I can still click on their name and send them a message. But if I was to click on Sean's name down here, the chat window would just pop up and I can continue chatting with them. The other thing I'll throw into the mix is if I close this off and I click on Messenger, I can also start just a message from up here by using the new message box. And if I click on new message, I can type in a name of someone I have in my friends list. So I hate to be boring, but well, actually I'll use a different person this time. I'm going to type in John Brown. Now, John Brown isn't online. I don't see a green dot, but that doesn't stop me from sending him a message. So I'm going to go and click on John Brown. And, I've had a conversation with John Brown before, and John Brown has sent me messages too. But I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to type in, and in this case, actually, I'm just going to send a message off to John Brown and say, how are things going? I hope you are still on Facebook. And I just say that a little bit tongue in cheek because I think a lot of people nowadays may or may not be on Facebook, but it all depends. So even though it says that John is active right now, unless I get a response back within a few seconds, like I see those bouncing little dots that might appear in my screen, I might also just have to accept the fact that even though Facebook is showing me he's online, he may not be signed into his account. He may not be responding to messages right away. And that's something to keep in mind too, is you can send a message, but it doesn't mean that a person immediately replies to it. They may get to it later. So I'm just going to close the chat window and show you another way to get into Messenger from your desktop. And like I say, we'll do a separate video for the phone-based materials. But over here on this side, on the far left side of my Facebook page, there is a place here that says see more, and I'm going to go click on see more because if I scroll down, I'm going to see that Messenger is over here too, and I'm going to go click on Messenger. And when I go back to Messenger, I see basically the same thing, except that it's laid out more kind of like an email system, but it does the same job. You'll see that there's still buttons up there to start a voice call, and you can do that via your computer. There's also an item here to start a video call. So again, if you don't like typing, try out these two buttons when you're having a messenger chat with somebody, and you might find that you prefer to talk to them by using your voice or by using your video. Again, both of these symbols rely on the fact that either you're using a headset or you're on a laptop that has a microphone and camera built into it, and basically every laptop nowadays does. Same thing with your camera, your video call, it relies that you have a functioning microphone and camera on whatever device that you happen to be using. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go back to my friend Sean Gramiak here, and I'll harass him some more. So if I click on Sean's name, you're going to see essentially the same chat we had going on not too long ago. You might just find that this is an easier thing to work with because the screen just gives me more that I can look at. There's also instructions down here on how to install the Messenger app, but in this case, we'll just kind of stay where we're at with this. And like we did before, I have all the same buttons I had previously. So I can type in, hello, Sean, are you still there? And the moment I tap my enter key, the message goes out to Sean. And at this point, if he happens to be there, a reply can be typed in. Yep. Sure am. And the message comes back. So essentially we're doing the same stuff we did like a few minutes ago, just in a bigger format that's hopefully easier to see. Now you'll notice that you also have 3 dots up here. If I click on those 3 dots, that's where I can get into the settings or the preferences here for my messenger. I can also filter this so I only see people who are active or online. Sometimes that makes it easier for me to figure out who I want to chat with, but I leave it wide open so I can see everybody. Message requests are a place I can go into where if people have sent me a message, but they're not on my friends list, they'll go into my message requests area, and that's kind of like a hidden message box you may want to take a look at every once in a while. And if you're in Messenger and you just want to jump back to Facebook, remember you can click on the little house or on the little Facebook symbol, and that should take you out of Messenger and take you back. So in case you go into your message requests and you kind of get lost there, you know, look for the house or look for the Facebook symbol up top and give that a click. Archived chats are chats that you can kind of move out of your list of chats over here, but still keep them within Facebook if you ever have to search for them again. I don't do a lot of archiving, but if you do, want to go in and find more information on Messenger, you can go into the help files here, and there will be, again, additional information about Messenger. Now, when all is said and done, and I'm done working with Messenger in this way, uh, again, like I say, this view just basically is just a wider view of the chat window we were working at before. There are some options over here. If I want to customize chat, I can go in and change themes, which are different color schemes that I can apply to my chats. I can also go in and change types of emojis that I use. I can even go in and give myself a nickname instead of using my full name, but I prefer to use my full name so people know who I'm talking to. So, and I can also search in the conversation for a specific topic. So if I click search in conversation, a search comes up. If I go searching for the word picture and I tap my enter key, it'll show me instances of the word picture. And again, it's just a way of kind of searching for that topic within a very long conversation. By the way, when I talk to people through Messenger, even if I have 10 conversations over 10 separate days, they all get added together in one big long conversation thread. So it essentially gives me a history of all of my communication. And it'll even tell me when messages were sent, so I can tell how old the messages might be. If I click media files and links, I can go and look at different media, and that just kind of shows me the different stuff that was sent as attachments or portions of this conversation. So again, it's just a quick way to see what stuff was sent to me. And if I go into media, for instance, and I click on the picture of the cat, I get a bigger picture of the cat. And then I can do things, for instance, like I can go and download the cat and save it to my computer, or save that picture to my computer. In messages, I can simply click on a picture. I get the same options, or I can, if I'm on a PC, I can right click on the picture and go save image as. So there's a couple ways of saving information from conversations within Messenger. Okay, so this is going to wind up being a little half-hour tutorial, but it's going to cover basically the same stuff we would cover in class as well. So I'm just clicking on the Facebook logo. I could have clicked on home, and you'll notice it kind of flipped me back into our chat window. If I just want to get rid of things, I'm just going to click the chat closed and return myself to my Facebook page. So feel free to take a look at that video a couple of times if you're so inclined. As I said earlier, I'm going to do another video just shortly and talk about working with Messenger from a phone. And you're going to see that it's pretty similar to working from the desktop, except of course you're going to have a lot less space to work with. And the steps for using Messenger with a phone are basically the same as you would be using if you were doing it from an iPad or a tablet or mobile device of some kind. But we'll come back to that in another video.